gonna be live. Oh, and we're live, and welcome back to Brian and Bryan. So today we're kind of introducing a new thing. It is beer and business. So we're
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
talking
and
about
to honor Jim McKinney.
honor Jim McKinney.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So we're gonna
Honor
be
Jim
talking
McKinney.
about some of the ins and outs of gymnastics coaches and business, and just some banter and talking about everything in life. So, how's it going, Brian?
It's going well. You're the one that was on vacation. You've got to fill us in because many of us kept up with you via Instagram and Facebook and these tools, but you've got to give us a quick synopsis of the entire vacation there because I know you went Scotland, correct? And then you went
Yes.
over to Rome.
So we went to. Sorry, my camera's all getting crazy. We flew into Dublin, spent 2-3 days in Dublin, then flew over to Edinburgh, Scotland, spent 2 or 3 days, 4 days, whatever it ended up being in Scotland, and then we flew from Edinburgh over to Rome, and we spent like 4, 5 days or whatever in Rome, and then we flew back to Dublin because we were flying home from Dublin, and we spent a couple more days, and then we flew home.
Nice. What's funny about that trip is my son, my oldest son, was in Rome while you were in Dublin and then in Scotland.
Nice.
And then he flew back when you flew to Rome. So that was interesting for me because it was kind of like, hey, I could have just told y'all to meet up in the airport and I could have said hi, gave some fives, and carry on. But yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was just me and my wife, and like 12, 13 days or whatever. And man, by the time we were done with it, we are like, all right, time to go home.
Enough vacation, huh?
Enough vacation, but it was a lot of fun though. We
So how's getting back in the gym?
that was the hard part. So
That was the hard part.
yeah, we came back directly into the beginning of our summer workouts, which first week. So the kids went from 2 light weeks. We cut the older guys down to 3 days. That way they kind of finish out their school year and their finals, and then as soon as they came back, which was this week, we jumped straight onto back to the bandwagon. 5 days, 4.5 hours a day. So they were a little tired this afternoon.
Yeah, I would think that was we would call that a rude awakening.
Well, and they went from my assistant coach to me in a lighter workout plan. But, you give these athletes some time off, and they need to rest. They need that
They
mental
definitely
break.
need that.
They
Yeah,
need the
they do.
physical break, and then they came back, and then we got right into it. Still technically a light workout plan for what I'd consider conditioning and strength wise, but in the end, it was pretty solid. We spent 2 hours on trampoline today, and we had Lance Ringnauld come in, and
Oh, nice.
he comes in and just kind of works out, and then he came over and played like add-on and stick and was doing some tramp work with the guys. So I was like, I'm not going to stop that. We're going to let them have some
No,
fun.
absolutely not. That's pretty cool. And and not to bust in, but the mental part of the game. You talked about giving the athletes a break, and you talked about giving the mental part of the game a break because of the competition seasons. Competition in gymnastics is not like competing in any other sport. So Brian and Bryan's teamed up with the guys over at the Right Profile, and they have the athlete type. We have the assessment in the show notes. It's free. Go take it. Sports psychology is expensive. It's
Mm-hmm.
expensive. And good sports psychology is hard to come by and more expensive. So we've worked out a deal with the guys over at the Right Profile. If you need references or whatever, you can call Bill Belichick himself. He's been using them for years. I think reference enough. Go get him. Go get those guys. Check it out. The assessment's free. The parents can take it. The athlete can take it. The coach can take it. And then the athlete can spend a whopping $99 a year to get sports psychology training and get in the right mindset, get over fear, get over competitive fears, get over competitive stress, anxiety, etc., etc., etc. On down the line. Go check those guys out. It's in the show notes. The Right Profile. Brian and Bryan, we love these guys. These guys are fantastic. Go check them out.
Yeah. He's right. Use their stuff. It's worth it, guys. Even if you don't buy it, go take the assessment. You'll be shocked at how crazy close it is to you. You'll read stuff and you'll be like, "Yeah, that's me." And then you'll show it to like your wife or your loved one, or even your boss, and your boss will be like, "Yeah, you are difficult to deal with whenever we're changing something." And so
Yep.
so just go do it, guys. It doesn't cost anything to take the assessment. Um,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
I think the topic we have set today is about making incremental gains. What is the topic? Let's read that thing. It's all about incremental gains that create quantum leaps. Brian. Oftentimes we get parents who they want these huge jumps and these huge gains with the athletes, and they're just not able to see it because I think a couple of reasons. First off, they're not on the front lines, or they're too close to the front lines. You know what I mean? Oftentimes we have to stand like the right distance back to see incremental gains, and the parents just don't know what to look for. First off,
No, you're right, and it's a proven fact, and it's tough for coaches. Parents don't understand that it's really tough for coaches. We see these athletes every day. We're training them 5, 6 days a week. We see them 3, 4, 4.5, 5 hours a day. Okay, we're watching these skills every day. So it's very tough to see the incremental improvements. And if you're a parent and you aren't trained like we are as coaches, we've been doing this a long time. This has been our sport, and this has been our passion, and then it became our career. If you're not trained to understand or to see or to pick out the nuances of the skills and the routine, connections there that we do, the sequencings and all that, if you're not trained to understand what we're looking for, what the judges are looking for, then it's really hard to see any improvement at all. Especially if you come in the gym and you watch every single day, every single turn. It's really hard to see. Yet, as coaches, we understand what we're doing and the bigger picture and the fact that this stuff takes time. It takes persistence, takes effort, and it takes time. So, that's something I think not just in gymnastics, it's in our society. It's ingrained in our society that, hey, I'm paying you, deliver it to me now. Give it to me now. I need it now. My kid needs it now. They need a win. They need this. They need that. They move up now. And I don't think that they understand that that's just not possible in our sport.
well,
or in any sport, frankly.
yeah, in any sport. I was chatting with one of our program managers, and what I was telling him is we provide the opportunity for a kid to learn something. We have set a time and say, okay, well, I'll use hybrid example. We have set 45 minutes today to do endos and endo fulls and endo pirouettes. Now, it's my job to provide the opportunity. It's not my job to force that athlete to take as many turns as possible. Yeah, I'm going to encourage him, but in the end, it's his decision on whether he's going to jump up there and do it. And sometimes we have to have conversations with parents and say, I'm providing the opportunity for him to learn this skill, and he is choosing not to do the skill or not to take the steps to learn the skill. I'm not holding back information, drills. I'm not holding back anything. He's holding himself back right now, and it might be because of fear. It might be because he's not strong enough. But I'm providing that opportunity, and he's not taking advantage of it. And it's extremely difficult because at that point, it's not in the coach's realm, it's not in the parents' realm. We're sitting back as a third party, encouraging and waiting for something to happen. And sure, more often than not, it takes a few weeks, maybe a few months. Those incremental gains that are a little bit imperceptible, we start seeing positive results in the long run.
And you made a great point. Sometimes the athlete has some mental things going on, and that's why we've teamed up with the right profile. That's why we've teamed up with these guys to help us get that part of the game straight, because we need these guys to understand that putting effort into things, failing, not being able to succeed all the time is part of the learning curve. That doesn't mean that you're bad. That doesn't mean you suck. That doesn't mean that you're not good at what you're doing. It means you're learning. Mm-hmm. And you have to go through that phase to learn. So, what you said is true, but some of those athletes won't take the turns because, well, I failed. I failed 10 times. I failed 20 times. I failed 30 times. I haven't made it. I'm not progressing. They don't see and they don't understand that it may take another 30, 60, 100 times to get that skill, but that's part of the learning curve. And it doesn't make you a bad athlete. It doesn't make you a great athlete. It makes you an athlete. And that's part of the learning curve. Michael Jordan said it best. He failed 10,000 times. He took 10,000 shots that didn't matter to anything. He missed, didn't score. But the ones he did make were because he kept going. And I think that's why we've teamed up with the right profile to help these athletes out and help their parents understand it's mental as much as physical. And getting in there and blaming the coach and telling the coach that you're not doing your job, you got to stay on my kid, you got to ride my kid. Well, we can ride your kids and we can be militaristic and we can do like the old days and the kids quit. Because who wants to be part of that?
Yeah.
What we're trying to do, like you said, is provide the opportunity. We give the coaching, we coach, we give tips, we help out, but they've got to do the turns and they have to go through the motions and they have to train their bodies to do this because our sport is created by their movement.
Well, Brian, I hate to switch subjects here, but I think the olden days where you can ride an athlete like that, they're going away. USAG is making certain of that.
Well, I thought we were just training the perpetrators on how on what we were looking for by doing 10,000 trainings of safe sport.
So well,
and now we're training the parents on safe sport.
So
we have our lackluster leader up there who's very unenthusiastic, and she got lambasted by Congress, I guess today. And we can go on and on.
Yeah. Well, so from what I understand, when there's the kids are now being registered by the parent from USAG, so they're going to get this whole thing that if they read, now they have a hotline that they can call USAG if they think the kid's or the coach is verbally abusing or harassing or belittling a child. There's a fine line between coaching and harassing a child. We're in a sport that demands perfection, right? And we're dealing with kids, we're developing children, and we have to tell the kids that they're doing something wrong, right? That's our job. And there's a very fine line between telling them they're doing something wrong and kind of harassing and writing their case about it. Where does that line of abuse fall? And if you have a parent that their line's a little different than your line, you could be in some serious trouble as a coach now.
And that goes back to our topic.
Yeah.
It's about those incremental gains, Mom and Dad. It's about the incremental gains, athlete.
Mm-hmm.
We can't, as coaches, we can't be the ones that, like in the olden days, when I was a gymnast and you were a gymnast, and even before then, where the coach drove you to do the sport. I mean, you wanted to do it, but they drove you through the fear. They drove you through the anxiety. They drove you through all that. It can't happen now. Now it has to be you. You have to take responsibility. You have to do your stuff. You have to do the skills, the drills, and keep going until you figure out that skill for you and your body type and everything else. And you know what? I think our culture of USA Gymnastics needed to change a long time ago. Obviously, things got way out of hand. But what we're talking about here fits perfectly into that, because what we're talking about is letting parents know, letting athletes know, letting coaches know, you're going to have to go through the process. You're going to have to make the daily incremental gains through the grind so that you can get to the next level. You can get the quantum leaps in the sport. You can make your athlete have the mental capacity to do the things they need to do without fear and anxiety. And it takes numbers, it takes time, it takes perseverance, and it takes a lot of effort on the part of the athlete, not as much on the part of the coach.
You know, kind of sticking with the whole USAG thing. USAG's rules and policies are now there to protect USA Gymnastics. They are not there to develop and a program, develop more athletes in the sport, and they're not there to protect the coaches. So I think we're going into a very interesting time with USAG, and with lack of good leadership, and with the path they're going, it'll be interesting to see what the next year or so brings. Um, I don't know.
Well, you and I've talked about it on this show
Yeah,
before. The leadership, and I got in trouble for it, and I'm going to get in trouble for it again. So
yeah,
just brace yourself.
hmm
The, the old guard, and I'm not talking about the old people in the sport that are
yeah,
still active and doing the right thing. I'm talking about the old guard that's in charge of USA Gymnastics or has been in the past in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Needs to move on and let new, innovative minds come in and recalibrate, reset
hmm
USA Gymnastics, renew USA Gymnastics. Because without that, I don't know if you watched any of the video I posted with Carrie Perry, but that's who's representing USA Gymnastics. I mean, no energy, no. I mean, her apology was even, I don't know. She got blasted by the congressman. We need a better person than that to be the hero, the leader, the person in charge of our organization. I don't think that's the person. So, and that's my opinion. I don't want anyone else to think that that's going anywhere else. That's just my opinion. And but I think that it's time. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to turn the page. It's time to put in some of these things that we're talking about here on Brian and Bryan, so that we can keep our sport growing, because there's a lot of kids, a lot of people, a lot of athletes that have made a career and made a life out of what happened with USA Gymnastics, and no one's talking about that.
hmm
Everyone's talking about all the bad things that happened because of a couple of people that covered up what a bad dude was doing.
hmm
And I think we need to look at that as for what it was. And I think it's time to just clean house and start over. And it gets the folks in there with some energy. I mean, I want to see someone that sits in front of Congress and talks to the congressman and has some life to them, like
hmm
real life. Like, hey, I'm excited about gymnastics, and this is what we're doing, and this is how we're changing it, and this is where it's going, and you need to be part of it.
Yeah.
We don't have that. That lady sucked.
Well, let me ask you this, Brian. Do you think all this business with USAG has hurt your business?
I think yes, in a way,
hmm
yes. I think
Like,
in a way, and I don't think the full impact has really hit yet.
hmm
I don't think that we've hit rock bottom yet. I think that it's starting to be seen, but we had the executive director, executive vice president ask us about all this, and we put out a letter to all of our members about the things we were doing to protect our kids in the gym. Okay, why would we need to do that if the leadership was taking the appropriate action
hmm
and changing the narrative and making the right decisions and doing the things that need to be happen? I think that what you're going to see over the next few years, and I think it's going to be years, and I think it's going to trend, is you're going to see a trend down, especially on the women's side. And you're already seeing where we're in international competitions, we're already kind of we're there, but we're hanging by a thread because we don't have any leadership in that area, and there's no clear path forward. And I think that that's a problem, and I think it's going to affect everybody.
Well, I don't think it's a conscious thing. Like, oh, I want to avoid gymnastics right now because of all the controversy. I think it's a very subconscious thing. We all, everyone's heard about Larry Nassar and all the abuse and everything, and well, they're like, oh man, that's terrible. And realistically, when you look at it, it's all in the elite program. It's all in the women's elite program. It's not in the men's side at all and everything like that. So they all have this little thought in their head that, oh, there's some bad stuff going on in the sport. I really got to avoid that. And it's very subconscious, not conscious. There's no positive media right now. Absolutely no positive media.
You know what the best positive media is coming out of right now is the NCAA. I will tell you because I follow all these teams,
Yeah.
and I like them and I share them, and it's fantastic. But it's the NCAA teams that are changing the narrative to all the positive things. Okay, Maggie Nichols is changing the face of all the negative crap that's going on.
Yeah.
And she is putting out some really positive stuff.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Okay, University of Utah, UCLA. I mean, we can go down the list. And these chicks are just rocking the house. And it's awesome. But where is USA Gymnastics? Why aren't they there?
Crickets.
Why aren't we doing that for what our girls and our guys are doing internationally? Because there's a lot of good meets going on, and there's a lot of good things happening with our men. Sam McCulloch has been kicking ass, and I mean, we've had a lot of great things going on that side. We've had a lot of great things with the women, with the Pan Ams and the Junior Pan Ams. Where is it? 1, 2, maybe 3 tweets. Gymnastics has done some stuff. Flo's done some stuff. Inside Gymnastics has done a few things. Where is the PR? Where is the press? Where are you blowing it up? Where are you making this larger than life? And why isn't it happening?
Don't know. It's kind of sad. It really is sad. Anyway,
I think as, to answer your question, there's where we're getting hurt. That's why we're hurting our sport.
Yeah.
Because the people I can't see, not everyone's going to follow UCLA women's gymnastics program, Oklahoma's women's gymnastics program, and no one's going to follow all that on Twitter like I do. But that's happening, and it's real, and it's exciting, and it's cool, and it's great for the sport, and it shows these young girls that are working out 4, 5, 6 hours a day in the gym that, hey, there's something for you at the end of this road that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're not showing that at all. Nothing. Zero.
There's no positive anything.
Mark Williams has posted, I don't know, 20 posts about the men's program and how they won the NCAA title again and all the things. Where's USA Gymnastics talking about that?
Well, shoot, Mark Yancey's in Belarus right now.
Yeah, where's USA Gymnastics talking about that?
That's awesome.
He's there at the training, the home training ground of one of the of gymnastics,
an icon. Yeah.
Icons, Ivan Ivankov, and we're not hearing anything about it except if you follow Mark Yancey.
Yeah. Shoot, hire a PR person, USAG. Like, duh. Hire somebody that's willing to go out there and put a positive narrative behind the scenes.
Well, if I don't have it wrong, which I will apologize if I do, I think Carrie Perry is a marketing person, and she knows how to do this stuff. And she supposedly knows how to do it well. And right now, she's sucking hind end.
Yeah, we need to cue the clip of her last verbal address video. Oh my goodness.
Let's not do that. That hurt me the first time I watched it.
Oh my goodness.
It hurt me the first time I watched it.
Oh my goodness.
We're talking about the incremental gains. We got off a little bit, but you know what? Yeah. It's still, but it all fits because those things affect our athletes. Okay, what's going on with USA Gymnastics, the negative, okay, all that affects our athletes in the gym. Now, I don't know about your guys, but my guys have been following all the guys from OU. They've been following guys from Nebraska. They've been following Mike Burns guys from Minnesota. Okay, they've been watching this stuff. The girls, they've been following Maggie. They've been following. They've been following these people. They're their icons. They're their idols. That's the celebrity for them. But to the public and the general public, what they see is only the negative stuff that's coming out in the bad press that's coming from the congressional hearings, from the next revelation that so and so new and so else new, and they should be. And we haven't seen many people fired. And it's just time for a change. I mean, you and I have businesses we're trying to grow. We
Yeah.
can't do that if people are telling everyone else that the public opinion is that this is bad for your kids because they're going to get molested.
Well, and the moment they sign up for USAG, that's the message they're being told.
And now their mom and daddy have to, if they're going to compete, have to take a version of Say Sport and have a hotline. So if the coach gets, is pushing that athlete and they feel the coach gets a little out of hand, they call and the coach is fired.
Yeah, well, no, they're not fired. What happens is USAG suspends their membership, and then if the club, well, then they have to go before a trial essentially with USAG, who's not a federal body, and defend themselves. And if the club continues to work with them, guess what? Then the club's membership gets revoked, and it's just a pain. You're guilty until proven innocent with USAG, and I think that's part of the problem.
Well, my question is, are all the other sports that are having issues, which haven't been as hot in the news as the USA Gymnastics one, because there hasn't been 200 plus athletes that had to file suit, is this going to hold true for the other athletes in other sports?
I don't know. I'm really against legislation and sports and stuff like that because I just think it's kind of a waste of time. But it's almost like there's going to end up having to be one. There's
Yep.
we tend to fight it with gymnastics because they wanted to like put the same rules and regulation as like childcare facilities, and there's a lot of gyms that do have that, but what ends up happening is they end up regulating the equipment out of our programs. You know what I mean? It's like when you can't use a trampoline and you're trying to develop gymnastic skills, it's not going to work very well. So that's
No.
why we end up fighting it tooth and nail, kind of. I don't know. I think they're going to end up having to put something for NGBs that make them follow some rules and policies because the world governing bodies aren't doing it. So
Well, and the world seems to not be having all the issues that we're having, so it's kind of a catch-22 as to what the world's going to do. But it's a problem. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think it's going to hurt a lot of programs before there's a concrete path forward. I'm very skeptical of the new organizations. I think that's way premature. And I've thought about it. I've looked at different things, talked to people with reasons why and for and against, and I just think it's a little premature. And
yeah,
I think the biggest thing would be to uh, you know do what they do when a company has bad years and the stock numbers come out and it's just terrible and everything's just terrible in the culture of the business. They fire the CEO, they fire all the executives, they get new people, and they restore confidence and move forward.
hmm
Seems like a good plan to me.
well, it's like there. You and I both have athletes that need USAG because of the caliber that they are. You know what I mean? They need this central organization to compete against the best of the best. But that's how they're going to develop as better athletes.
Correct.
We can't operate when we're dealing with athletes that'll just walk into these other organizations and just dominate. They won't develop as gymnasts. So we all need USAG to succeed. You know what I mean? And if USAG doesn't succeed, we need an organization that could take their place like immediately. But I don't think that exists. So, and
No.
I don't think Fig's gonna withdraw the NGB. So,
No.
it's up to USAG to change the narrative, make those changes, and get back to business as usual, really, with just better policy. So,
And a much better culture.
exactly, this is a culture change. You know what I mean? We deal with if your gym has a bad culture, your staff has a bad culture, your team has a bad culture, it's not going to work out. It is short lived. Anyway, beer in a business tends to digress into completely other topics, apparently, and
Yeah,
that's okay. That's
yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
That's what this is about. Hanging out, having a good time, drinking a beer, talking about business, talking about things that are pertinent to you guys and our lives. So,
It is. And, it all comes back to what our topic is. All these things are about making incremental gains so that we can all make quantum leaps, whether it's with our athletes, whether it's with our business, or whether it's in our sport. And the process doesn't change. It still takes perseverance, effort, and time. Perseverance, effort, and time. You have to keep going. You have to keep putting 110% into it, and you have to keep doing it over a long period of time, long enough to where things can take hold, get traction, and you can make changes and make improvements. And those do not happen overnight. Michael Jordan was not built in a day. I would hate to tell people that he sucked when he came into the NBA his first couple of years, but most people wouldn't believe me, but go look at the stats.
That's right. So I think that concludes the first ever Beer in Business.
There you go. Hey, we're going to be at the I'm going to be at the business meeting tomorrow. You are going to be floating down the Brazos, and I am jealous, and I think so is my wife. She would like to be there doing that too. But I'm going to be there, and she's going to be picking out dresses for our trip to Jamaica, where we're actually going to do a wedding ceremony, kind of thing for us. Better than just a just as a peace wedding of things. We're going to do a real on the beach type of shindig. So, anyways, I have some cool pictures and stuff. That's in July. I got a voice.
Yeah, you got a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah, I told you I'm really good at holding luggage. So
I've
you need a bellhop. I'm a good
bellhop. So I know that
I can drink a beer too.
I know if you come, the wife's going to come. So she's going to. Are you going to be my personal bag carrier, and your wife's going to be Jennifer's personal bag carrier? Is that going to work that out?
And we volunteer to take some sun away so you don't get sunburns.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Yeah. I'll let Jennifer know, and we'll see how that works out.
Cool. All right, guys.
All right, so we're summing up. Hey, guys, get over, check out the link to the right profile. Okay, take the assessment. Have your athletes take the assessment. It's free. There's no strings attached. Okay, you get a lot of great information. If you want to move forward, it's $99 for the whole year. Big deal.
That's nothing. That's cheaper than one session.
Yeah, one session is like $225. So this is nothing. But anyways, go take the assessment. It's in the show notes. The link, you get it. Go take the assessment. It'll be fantastic. I'm also going to post it to a few of the groups in LinkedIn if you follow me on LinkedIn. So get the assessment, take it, and let us know what you think. Give us some feedback. The guys over there would also like to have some feedback as they're building a database for gymnastics specifically, because most of their athletics is in football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey. Okay, they want some gymnastics stuff, so that's why we are the guys promoting this and trying to get that done. So go take the assessment and look for us next Friday.
Sounds great, guys. Have a great weekend.
See ya.